I don't know if anybody else knows.
Hey guys, welcome to The Beat Goes On. Today I am sitting down with For Display Only. Guys, introduce yourselves.
Bill Forrest, guitar and vocals.
Chuck Horton, bass and vocals.
Wayne Goldman, drums and vocals.
Jim Todd, vocals.
Notice the and, just vocals.
Hysteria.
Tambourine.
No, I don't do tambourine.
You don't do tambourine.
No.
So, welcome to The Beat Goes On. Thank you guys for making the time to sit down with me today.
Yep.
We are going to get some information out there to the world about who you guys are and why people want to come listen to you. Okay, and fans, just so you know, we've been talking for like an hour and it's been like, 55 minutes of solid laughter, so get used to us breaking down into laughter throughout this show. They don't turn into 12-year-olds on stage. They never stop being 12-year-olds.
Bingo.
And it's freaking awesome.
Poop.
So we're going to start with Jim because maybe we'll get him to stop laughing. And he just took a bite of pizza. Yes, I'm rocking like that.
I'm good.
Jim, give us a little bit of your background. How did you get into music? How long have you been into music? What are some of the bands you've been with before now?
Well,
A lot.
if I can say. No, I started Chicago, northern by birth, southern by the grace of God. And started singing gospel, went into country, 60s, hard rock, metal, thrash, anything and everything in between. Biggest band that I was in Chicago was a band called Mortar. Almost got signed. Opened up for a lot of nationals coming through. Overkill, Nuclear Assault. Almost got Pantera. And that fell through. Moved out here. Took a 17-year hiatus. Got in with a band called Tavern. And sang with them for 4 or 5 years, and then it just, the names, if I could remember everybody, we'd be here all night. But I've sang with quite a few bands, and really haven't found a place to be comfortable until right now. You know, these guys accept me for who I am, for what I am, for what I do.
Completely
And-
unacceptable.
And it was a shot in the dark, and I took it. And I actually left because I didn't think there's got to be something better out there. And I'm back with the band now because I found out that the grass wasn't greener, grass was gone on the other side, and they possibly might have found the same thing. So
Hopefully.
yeah.
At least they were nice enough to let you come back.
Yes. So
He had to audition again, though.
but now we're
Oh, yeah.
fortunate.
Nice.
Yeah.
Don't let him get
Oh, it's not an audition, guys. This is rehearsal.
don't let him get comfortable. Keep him on his toes.
So-
Absolutely.
Of course.
So that's pretty much it in a nutshell.
Okay. So we're going to do this kind of in truth or dare fashion. You answer the first question. You get to pick who goes next.
I'll go to my left here, right? Wayne Goldman.
So, I am originally born on the East Coast. Spent most of my life in the Chicago area, like a couple of my brothers here in Chicago. And I've been playing drums for about 35 plus years. And in Chicago, I was doing strictly originals. So I didn't really go out into the world of covers until I moved out here. Met a buddy of mine, nobody in this room, but got into a band with them. It was my first cover band. It was here in like 2009. The band's no longer together, so it's
But
that's how great it was.
What was their name?
It was called Probable Cause.
Okay.
And we were together for a couple of years. Never really did much with it. It was just a very, very part-time, fun type of thing we did. Then after that, next band is the only band that I was in that's still together now is Direct Connection. They're still playing out, I know. And then from there, I went. I knew Jim. Saw Jim at a mutual friend's show, and he goes. Just got to talking. They needed a drummer, and I was kind of at that point where I needed a change, and I guess the rest is history. Playing with these guys for almost over 2 years now.
Mm-hmm.
So
I'm the newest member.
how long has For Display Only been together?
Which version of it?
Chuck.
But how many years ago did it start?
10 years ago.
10 years
Okay.
ago, Chuck and I.
This coming July,
Yeah.
we'll be
Okay.
together 10 years.
It's their anniversary.
Okay.
Yeah, it's our anniversary. Yeah, I still don't know what to get you.
Is it paper? Is
What,
it
what's the
paper
is this
or-
10 years
No,
paper? I don't know what the 10
Paper
years is.
number one. Anyways. No, we were together 10 years now, and I found him through my ex, who was singing with us, and she found him through another karaoke buddy that he knows, so that's how it kicked in, and said he plays guitar. I said, okay, so we hooked up. We got together with us three, and that was okay, but family comes first. We've had a few setbacks. Had a wife that had some problems with cancer and stuff like that, so we just took a breather on that one, and then we came back together, and we kept adding drummers and singers and drummers and singers, and it's like, it finally got to this, and it was like, okay, I'm not doing it anymore. After this, it's over with, so, yeah.
So if y'all don't make this work, he's done. That's
He's
what
done.
I just got from that.
Pretty much, yeah. We're done with this.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let somebody else take charge.
The current configuration.
Yeah, because it's like, we've been fighting this for the last 4 or 5 years now, and I'm still fighting to get into clubs and play. So, yeah.
So, since you started talking, how about you tell us your background?
I'm the oldest one of the group, anyways.
It's a plaid background.
Yeah, I started playing when I was 15, so it was, I went everything from basic Beatles to rock to country to metal to whatever. I was in a pop band for a while, kind of pop rock band, and that was in the 80s. And after that fell apart, oh God, I can't remember half the bands I was in. Yeah, I was in a
Hence
couple.
being the oldest guy in the band.
couple-
I remember shit.
I was in a couple original bands. One was Raven Wolf. They were big in the Valley for a while, back in the 90s. Played at Joe's Grotto a lot. And then tragedy happened, and so that band's no longer together. And then Rain was for a while. They thought they made it, but they hadn't even wiped their butts yet. So it's like, I quit and moved on. And that's when I decided I might as well put my own band together. And that's where this popped up at. So that's where I've been.
That leaves you.
Bill?
That leaves me.
Last but not least.
That leaves you.
Well, I've been playing since 82, 83.
Graduation from high school.
I was in the Marine Corps.
He started.
I wasn't even out of high school yet.
I was potty trained, so there's something.
At least that's what you tell them.
Out back at Chicago, like the other guy.
Finally caught on.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, 3 Chicago guys.
The three of us from Chicago, so didn't do a whole heck of a lot of anything solid in Chicago until we moved down here when I was 17, and got really lucky at a tiny little music shop down on Glendale. Came across, just sitting there, just noodling around, and a guy came in saying, his cousin was there, and they were in the band. They were looking for a lead player, and so it just kind of fell into my lap, and some really great guys with some really great connections, and got to play some of the really cool stuff from Long Wongs and Mason Jar, Electric Ballroom, and all that, and got to do some recording with them too. It was Necessary Enemy. And that went for 5-6 years. Then ended up moving back to Chicago and met up with some other friends of my ex-wife that were putting a band together, Government Warning. Both of those were original bands, and was out there for 6 years doing that until we finally had just about enough of the Chicago weather and said, "Screw it, we're going to Phoenix."
We're all out here.
Pussy.
Hell with the snow.
Handle it.
Wait, you're still here. What are you worried about?
I didn't move out here. I moved out because I was stupid.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Love.
What's upstairs?
I love you.
You old softy.
Yeah.
And not a whole lot
That's
until
what she said.
I really hadn't done anything. I came out when we moved out here. I hadn't touched my gear in a while until I got the call about Chuck was looking for something, and then we've just been trucking along this 10 years now.
We're like 15 years in difference in age, and we still have the same attitude of music and stuff, so it really clicks.
Yeah, our styles click really well together. Our personalities click well. There's just really a really cool groove between us. It's just works.
Still haven't made out with him yet, but I'm not gonna. So.
We haven't bought me dinner yet either, so
Well, you won't buy me dinner. So.
And
You
there
brought
we
pizza
have.
today.
Yeah,
Many times.
Jim bought dinner for everybody.
Yeah.
Wait.
Or-
I still don't
Dang.
get anywhere.
I'm glad you said it so I don't have to.
No, I'm the guy. I'm standing out in the parking lot at the end of the night after all the shows, and I'm waving goodbye to everybody. I'm the last one in the parking lot.
Blowing kisses.
which is why they never come back.
I go home. So,
Just gotta make sure everybody gets home safely.
I'm the one that helps the bartender kick the ones out of the bar when I do a show, so I get that.
gotcha.
I actually was at a show and helped a bartender kick the bikers out of the bar, and one of them walked up to me and looked and said, "What, you're the new security?" And I looked at him and went, "Yeah, I actually am." And he went, "Oh," and he grabbed his pool cue. And he walked
the rest
out.
is
Did you reach in your handy bag of tricks and
No, didn't at all.
He didn't hit you over the head with a pool cue.
No, he didn't. So, where did you come up with the name?
I didn't. Our first drummer's wife did. He's in Grudgemeyer, by the way.
Really?
The
Yeah.
drummer, yeah.
Nice. That is
So
awesome.
his wife's the one that came up with that name.
I love those guys. I got to interview them a couple months ago. They're pretty
Yeah,
awesome.
they live around the corner from me.
Nice. I've been out there.
Yeah.
I've done that drive from Mesa.
Yeah.
On a Sunday, no less.
That's all for you. Yeah.
So, what's the story behind For Display Only?
We were trying to think of a name. We came up with about 30 different names, and none of them clicked. And his wife says, "How about 4 Display Only with the number 4? There's 4 of us." All right. And so we kept it. But then Joe had some problem with his back. He had pulled a muscle or something back here real bad. It tore,
Right.
and he couldn't play anymore for a while. So I had to find another drummer. I had no choice.
Right.
We had a
Well,
show
no,
coming up.
business is
We had
business.
another show coming up the
and-
next week, so it was
yeah.
like I had to get another drummer in. So I found my old drummer from one of my original bands, and he came in and sat in with us. So
How hard is that? I mean, because I know a lot of bands have that occasional crap. My bass player can't play tonight, or crap, this that. How hard is it to find somebody to step in? Because to me, that would be like, oh my god.
drummers are basically, and not to put anybody down, but they're like a dime a dozen here. There's a ton of drummers here in the valley. Guitar players, well, there used to be. I don't know anymore. Bass players, you have to go back east to get them.
yeah.
And
Oh, for a
singers,
plane ticket, come on out, we have a gig.
yeah, seriously.
And most of the drummers out here are very, very good at what they do. So, you
Oh,
know.
thank you.
And if you want a
We-
keyboard
yeah.
player,
We-
you gotta go back east to get a good one.
But we
Jim
didn't-
Stark. He's here.
I'm just saying, yeah,
Yeah.
but he won't play for a lot of money. So
Finding one is easy. Finding one that you have chemistry with, that you know, where sometimes the shows can be tough. Sometimes when there's someone they can be a badass drummer, but if
keyboard
you're just
players
not
are
clicking,
kind of in their own
it can be a
little
rough,
setup. They're not
a rough time.
with us rockers kind of guy. They're piano players. They grew up that way. 5-6-year-olds learn how to play piano and stuff, and then they get the keyboard part. But then it's like they think, well, I can play without you guys. I don't need you. Play the piano bar, make money. Seriously.
I don't doubt it. I mean, we all talked before we started this interview about my history. So every interview I come into, I actually get to learn new things. And that's one of the great things for me, and it helps the fans out there have a better understanding because we get to learn new stuff.
Brian Klein, keyboardist, guitarist, that was in the UFO tribute, wasn't one of those guys. He's a dead-on musician. So
That's one.
so straight, yeah.
Well, I would say
very straight.
James Stark
Not
is
you,
too,
Brian, but
But I'm sure he's too busy to do anything else. So he's got his own stuff to go on.
Oh,
So,
he
yeah.
does. He does have quite a bit going on. Sorry, Jim, I did not mean to book you for more work. Oh my God, I'm
Come
so
on
sorry.
down.
No, he actually. I'm hoping he'll be able to make it because he's currently in Scott Row Red Rum, so
Yeah.
he might have his own show
Oh,
that
okay.
night. I don't know. If not, then he usually does try
We all
and
know
make it.
Scott Row. Big Joe's Grotto area. So that's
Yeah.
sometimes,
So, speaking of Joe's Grotto, I know it's been closed for quite a minute. I was there at the closing night.
I wasn't going to pay $10. It wasn't worth it.
Oh well, I didn't. So I'm spoiled. That's
Yeah.
kind of the theme of my life. I'm a little spoiled. Thank you to all of the bands that allow me to be able to say that. But has it made a difference to you guys for Joe's Grotto to have been closed?
Joe was more showcasing bands, and for a while there, a long time ago, he had bands out there playing all the time and had no problem with them. But then it changed, I guess, more business, money thing. So he changed his thing because he also made his place bigger too.
Right.
So I was there in the very beginning when it first opened up. So it was more,
hole in the wall.
yeah, it was more. He was in for the bands,
Literally.
and that
Right.
later on got in for the money. So and that's I understand. Okay, you're a businessman.
Business is business. Yeah.
And the bands were dwindling because he was looking more for some original stuff, but he wanted showcases and stuff. And he wanted you to bring a following.
Right.
Followings are hard. So, and the only reason he moved is because the guy bought out the lot, so he couldn't afford the rent.
Right.
You hate to see any good music
Yeah.
venue close.
Great
and
stages.
Just like
There's so
I
few.
love the
That's
stage
right.
at Joe's.
Yeah,
That
great
was
Just like the Steelhorse.
Great stage, great
They
sound
just
system.
closed, and that was like for the last 2 years.
That was our home.
That was our
Yeah.
home. Whenever they had a need, they needed someone to fill in. We were like one of the first people that we called.
They could care less if anybody showed up or not. Just
Yeah.
let them have a band to play.
So the Steelhorse was, a godsend. I played there in a lot of other bands, but it was really, really hard. It's been a really hard month since I knew it was closing.
Yeah.
I had a lot of friends there. One of my closest friends, that's where I met him at. He passed recently, so or he passed a year ago.
Yeah.
And so Steelhorse was that's a tough one. But I hear rumor, if you listen to it, they might be back
nice.
because they kept the license and they kept the name. So
It's not an
No.
easy business.
We're crossing
Well,
our fingers.
it's not, and COVID has done a lot of
Oh,
damage.
Yeah.
I know from my perspective as a fan, and that really is how I see myself. I see myself I don't see myself as a promoter. I don't see myself as I see myself as a fan of the bands. And as a fan, not getting to go out on a Friday or Saturday night and go see my friends. My social life happens out at these shows. And it was really hard to sit there and go, oh, not only do I not have show posters to announce, I don't get to go either. And I was fortunate. I still have communication with a lot of the bands. I was still putting out the music podcast, but all of my interviewing stopped.
Right.
All of my shows, going to shows stopped. I had just done the 6-month anniversary show for the local beat, and 2 days later they announced the shutdown of everything. So I was lucky that I got that in.
Yeah, we hadn't practiced for about 2 months either. So
Yeah. So you guys took the social distancing to that point of where you stopped practicing and everything.
well, there was no place to go anyway. So why practice if there's no bar to play at? Because the bars were
Because
shut
we
down.
love the music. It's all about the music.
Keeping your sword sharpened. Your sword sharpened. Sharpened.
So you guys shut down. You didn't practice.
No, we knew the songs. We don't know
You've been
now.
singing them since you
Yeah.
were 12, right?
Yeah, right.
Like
Pretty
5
much.
minutes ago.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Wait. I think I had most of the albums back then too. Before you were born.
I had my dad's albums.
That's right.
okay.
Your dad's album. Same thing.
So, what did you guys do during the shutdown? How did you survive it?
Masturbation.
Drugs.
Quiet. Ooh. Well, family time.
Yeah, a lot of family time.
Quiet time.
A lot of family
Well, we all
time.
still work where we can, so.
So, are you guys? And this is like this terminology is just a little weird to
The
me.
essential crap.
Somebody told me
There's a girl out there. with flowers in her hair.
their father
What is that?
was a working musician.
Right.
And I mean, I understand in theory what that means, but aren't y'all all working musicians?
Well, a working musician probably means they were doing it for a living.
Right, and that is what he meant by that. And I don't
Right.
mean it as any kind of disrespect
Oh, yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
no,
I just
no.
hate that thought. Y'all, all y'all are working
Yeah, no, yeah.
musicians.
Well,
We're working
not really because we're not
do it
making
for a
any
living.
money, so it's like
Right.
Yeah.
You're working musicians. You just aren't paid musicians.
We're not
We're
prof-
volunteer musicians.
If it's a definition, a professional musician is a paid musician. So we're
Not professionals.
semi-professional.
Semi-professional. We get paid once in a while.
We're
Yeah.
semi-pro. I want to be Burt Reynolds.
Are we the interns?
That's it. That's the new terminology we're going to put out there into the world.
There you go.
Intern musician.
There are working musicians, and then there are intern musicians. You don't get paid; you get the occasional bonus.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, because if we were doing this for money, we would never be doing this. So.
I've been an intern for 40 years.
Okay, so it's not the 40-year-old virgin; it's the 40-year-old intern.
Exactly.
It's kind of a 40-year-old version. So you can.
You reverted at a certain point, right?
I don't ever want to know.
Show them the
That's what I was
video.
asking.
to see.
And now we do a topic change
Yeah.
because we are
On that note,
all devolved. So let's go into some of my favorite questions. I've got certain questions that I actually love asking because everybody's expecting them, but nobody ever has the answer for them. So,
Oh.
if you guys dream venues, what venue would you play at? What venue to you is the epitome of having made it?
Is that
We'll start here.
worldwide,
Like-
or is that just
Yeah,
all over the place?
global. Pick your venue. Pick your venue that would make you feel like you
You
had
guys don't
absolutely
believe mine.
made it.
I know. I got it. The Aragon Ballroom. in
The
Chicago.
the brawl room.
Oh my
we should
God,
go. Oh
The
my
Aragon
god.
Ball. That's my pinnacle.
What's the story behind that? What's the big
Oh,
deal
God.
about that place?
It's been going since the 60s.
60s.
And it used to be a ballroom,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and then the owners converted it into a concert arena. And I saw so many bands there. Metallica with Cliff Burton, AC/DC with Bon Scott. I'm getting goosebumps.
It's because all the dead people are picking at you.
The Jellyfish, if anybody's familiar with the Jellyfish, I saw them open up for the Black Crowes there. Armored Saint, the original Armored Saint, Iggy Pop and the Ramones. That place is just iconic. I mean, it's nothing to sneeze at. It's nothing. White Zombie and Pantera.
It's like CBGBs. It's
one
just,
of the-
if
yeah.
somebody's somebody, they were there.
Right.
At some point, they were there, and you got to go and see them for $5. You know, it was just
Yeah.
because that's when they were hitting. Was there? It was just. It was not the greatest place
No.
by any stretch, but you know, there was CBGB's or Rainbow or any of that.
But
that's where you got to
Whiskey
see.
A Go-Go. I've not been there,
Right.
but I've been told it's really nothing to look
It's a
at.
dump. No,
It's
It's a
the
hole.
It's a
it's
dump.
the
It's a jumping off
iconic
point.
Uh-huh.
fact.
Who was
Yeah.
there? And that
Right.
the troubadour.
And it's
thing.
minus
Yeah.
one seat because they gave it to Lemmy. Or no, is that the Rainbow?
That's around the corner from the whiskey. Yeah, that's.
But is that,
Rainbow.
was-
Yeah,
is that the one that Dean hung out?
Yeah.
Okay,
Mhm.
sorry.
I guess
stayed
it's one
far.
seat. Yeah,
Okay.
they put his coat on it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, nobody touched it.
Nice.
So so
Okay, but I would have to walk up and touch
the
it.
air.
Oh, you can walk up to it, but you can't sit in it.
Right.
No, I just want to touch it. Just because you said nobody touches, I would have to.
Nobody sits there. Yeah, that's all.
I am that one that you say don't poke it, and I'm like,
You're the one that's in the museum looking across the red rope going, "Oh, look at that!" You know.
yeah, that's me.
As the bouncer comes over and grabs you.
Scratching at the wax figures in the museum.
Yeah.
Well, I
that real
was 9 years old the first time I got to walk down Hollywood Boulevard on Friday. Well, actually, it was a Saturday night, and it was the first time I'd ever seen Liberty Spikes.
Oh,
The Mohawk with the spike. Yeah, it was the first time I'd ever seen that, and I just kept watching and following, and thank God my dad was next to me, because the next thing I know, I'm doing this, getting ready to try and touch the spikes, and my dad grabs my hand. So yeah, I really am the one that really can't help myself. I've got to touch. It just.
don't touch me there.
So
Yeah,
next person, next venue.
Yeah, how was I?
For no other reason besides it just looks like the coolest place to play is Red Rocks.
No,
Barcelona?
no,
Oh.
Denver.
It's in Colorado.
Yeah, it's in Colorado.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is.
You just see, well, it's the last. I've never been there personally, but when you see some of the acts that go, it just look just the whole, just playing it in the mountain. It just
Yanni
looks
tears
so-
it up there.
Oh, I'm sure Yanni's amazing there. Sammy Hagar and
It is
Circle
absolutely, it is amazing.
it just looks like.
Oh, you've been there?
Yeah, I lived in Denver for a little bit.
Oh, okay, wow.
See?
So it's right outside Denver.
Fuck you and your Yanni shit.
Actually, and it's really funny because I do have some friends that are musicians that have played in Denver and actually did some big stuff out of Denver. The rhythm guitarist for Saint Madness was actually in Kronos out of Denver. So I've gotten to hear all kind of stories, and from what I'm hearing, the Denver music scene is really getting huge out there.
Wow.
Yeah, it was kind of, I'm like,
Nice.
okay.
It's
But
it's the air up there. It's
There is
funny.
none.
Well, that's
it is.
It's just a little
Yeah,
thing.
It's
I
Mile
live up there.
High City for a reason.
Yeah.
But so you want the Red
Cool
Rocks?
place, yeah.
I'm just happy being on stage where we're at. I don't care.
You don't have an
That's so
iconic.
heartwarming.
No, you don't. No, I'm serious. I
Long as I'm
I don't,
with these
that
guys
dream
and
is
my
gone
friends.
for me. I had a dream years ago about where I would like to play.
But
I don't know.
But what was it?
It never was an actual
Steel
name. It
Horse
was just
Saloon
a
is ideal.
stage. I don't care. Yeah. I enjoyed getting on stage with these guys. What's coming up next?
I can answer what's coming up next for y'all, and I'm not even a member of the band. Ha ha.
Jim.
Now back to
So
you.
Is it showing
we've
again?
got one left. Where's your iconic place?
MSG.
I happen to know what that stands
Big-
for.
Big
Montessori
stage.
and Glutamate.
Room.
It's the best place to play.
Okay, so for anybody that doesn't know
something
what
I could run
MSG is,
Michael Schenker.
Madison Square Gardens.
Something, a stage I have to run across.
You just
I
wanna
don't.
play- you just wanna
just
play with
something
the
about
Knicks.
that where I can just, I don't have to worry about bumping into things. I can.
What
I
he
can
wants
go.
to do is
I
play
can
two
just-
songs, take everybody, move the drum stage this way. Take two songs, do
Yeah.
that. Well, the Beatles thing, you know.
Rotating stage, rotating drum set. I'm still waiting. I saw a
celebrity
meme on
rotating drum set.
Facebook that a drummer had put his drum kit basically in a frame and suspended it with springs
Oh, that's
so that
bouncing
he
all
could
over.
balance.
I've seen that.
Yeah, I kind of
Yeah.
want to see that because that kind of looks like a lot of fun.
I like
Sure
the
it
guy.
is. I don't.
Have you seen the guy
I'd be
that's
throwing up. Probably.
he's got his drum set on his motorcycle?
Yes.
Mhm.
I saw
That's
a
cool.
meme on Facebook that it was a bicycle that had a drum kit.
No. This guy's got
Oh,
a
it's a
Harley,
trike.
and he's
Yeah.
no, it was a trike.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Nice.
As
Now it's gonna
he's
support
driving
the
along,
picture.
he's playing.
Ooh, that would be a little dangerous and ooh.
He does it in like parades and stuff.
It's kind of like
Okay.
how
around.
it's like how I drive.
This is true.
Okay, I drive down the road listening to the local music and singing along with it, but I'm pretty sure I'm not putting a drum kit in my car.
Oh.
That's just not.
No.
You could always have a Jim Todd dance party while
Yeah.
you're
My
driving.
my
I
car,
did.
See, the hands waving out the window
my
while
car
he's dancing.
is my stage. I know I have videos on YouTube somewhere because people pull up beside me and videotape me, and I didn't even know they were there, and I'd look over and they'd be like, yeah!
Those are the
I was
videos
like-
that were taken down.
I was like, what are you? It's like, oh yeah, hey, I'm doing this. Just go back to what I was doing because that's my only real safe place for release, if you want to call it that. And that is figuratively too.
Safe place?
To release.
Release.
So okay, that actually brings up a topic that fans need to understand. The energy when y'all are on stage, that energy feedback from the fans to the fans. It's there. It's real. Anybody who's been on the stage feeling it knows what I'm talking about. Me in the audience, I get it. I feel it. I go home with a contact high just from that, let alone everything else going on. What opinions on that?
It's magic.
It is.
It really is absolutely magical. And getting home after a show, the more exhausted I feel, not just from the physical things, but just the energy, like you were talking, the energy back and forth. The more exhausted I am, the happier I feel, because it feels like that was this great freaking show. And even if I was having a crap night and I'm just sitting there and I wasn't doing a lot of moving around, I was kind of in my own little bubble, it still can take it out of you, and it's amazing.
We always have to be moving, me and him, because he likes to swing his mic stand around.
And
Yes,
his tail.
well,
We're always moving.
and his tail.
Out of his
We're
way.
ducking.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
We're
like
dodging.
this.
There's a little safer thing. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a
So we need to take his mic stand away.
No,
Is that
no,
No,
gotta
no,
keep
no.
that.
No, because then it gets worse.
It's part of the act.
Then he does other things, and
Yeah.
we can't really discuss
Give him his
those.
mic stand. It's easier to dodge.
No, it's
Freddie Mercury style? Because that's what I'm picturing at this
No.
point. Is that
Oh no, he swings the whole
But
freaking
he's got
thing.
the whole mic stand, not just.
I don't have just a regular mic stand.
He's
I
going to
have,
kill you.
I got the official breakaway.
for those at home, I'm breaking out my mic stand. It
Oh, and
moves
it
back and
moves.
forth,
Oh.
and it slides up and down. I can simulate 6 acts as I'm doing that.
Theater of the mind.
So yeah.
And every
And-
single person listening knows exactly
Exactly
what
what
he
he was
just
just
did.
Well, who's seen it? Yes.
I love my imagination, just not right now.
Yeah, because it was fulfilled.
That was pretty quick, too.
Yeah.
Right?
That all it was?
You know, there's a first time for
It
everything.
wasn't even 10 seconds, I think. Damn.
And someone thought hitting record was going to be a good idea.
But,
And I have suddenly figured out what a 2-pump jump is.
well, if you notice, I did at least 5.
Okay, 5-pump.
Okay, well, that's better than 2. It's 3 more.
By 3. By 3.
3 more, Mom. But it's
But
better
seriously,
than
folks.
any drug.
Yeah.
And if you look at it in that respect, now you know why a lot of celebrities, when they get off stage, it's a high that some of them don't want to come down off of. So they take that to whatever extent that they do, you know. But yeah, for me, there is nothing love. I would say my kids, nothing takes the place of my kids. This is a second.
It's a different kind of thing, though.
Well, but still, this if I could stay on stage all the time, I wouldn't need a
There'd
woman.
be Dr. Pepper everywhere.
I wouldn't. It's Dr. Pepper for everyone. Oh, but I mean, there's that happiness, that surreal. There's no.
It's an absolute. I mean, and I know it from the fan side. I know it from the side of being an MC for a show. I know that I get home from a show. I have been sent home after a show because I was standing there. We were talking about where everybody was going, and I had one of the musicians look at me and say, "You're going home," because I was standing there doing this waving thing as I was trying to stand.
Were you selling anything?
Probably could have been at that point.
0% financing.
Right, but I mean, and I didn't
Buy
even
two, get one
realize
free.
how physically exhausted I was because that high was still there.
Right. Now try to just do 2 songs and go through the night.
No,
That's
no,
like-
I don't. No, I don't get on stage.
That's like, no, but I'm just saying, no.
Yeah.
Doing a show for 4 hours,
Right.
try doing a show, just do 2 songs and then get off stage and you're like, oh, because you didn't get the full release. So now you're blue balled, so to speak.
That was a bit graphic.
That's Jim for you, ladies and gentlemen.
You did give the disclaimer at the beginning. About
Yeah.
And it is unedited.
So you did your part from here on out. It's on their plate for listening to it.
Okay, so you guys, you did get the warning. Okay, thank
If
God
I'm
this
away.
is not a PG show that I do.
But you did ask,
Well,
and
of
I
course.
gave a full description.
You did a
Mine.
great job
And
of
it's,
it.
and it's
And the one thing that's weird about everything, and in other bands, I'm not putting anybody down, that we're sober.
Well, and there's a lot of bands. There's more bands
Everybody
out
I
there.
never said anything about him. They said, "What kind of drugs is he on?" I said, "Dr. Pepper."
Kind of sugar high.
Yeah.
Well, and there's a lot of bands out there that either are sober or completely sober, or a lot of members are sober, or at least they don't drink before a show.
Right.
Or they have a limit of like 2 beers before they jump on stage.
Right.
So I don't know how they do it. I don't drink. That the hardest drugs I do are caffeine and nicotine. So that's as hard as it goes for drug wise for me. But I get up there and yes, I take the mic to MC a show. I walk away. I hand the mic to the singer when I'm done, and I walk off stage, and everybody's like, "You did a great job," and I'm like, "But you're not seeing the fact that I am shaking."
Speech class.
I was in Toastmasters in high school and in college, all kinds of stuff. But it's to have to get up in front of people like y'all do for 45 minutes, let alone 4 hours. Yeah, that's not happening. It is so not happening.
My daughter just did that at the Steel Horse. She has severe anxiety. Both of them do.
Mm-hmm.
And they sang with me 11 or 12 years ago, and I said, for the dubious honor of our last show at the Steel Horse, would you get up and sing with me? And, well, I think you saw my daughter that night when we were at the Hell Bar. We didn't get introduced,
Okay.
but I was across the way from you. So we had gone to 3 bars, and she was like petrified. So she got to see Straight Outta Mayberry,
I love those.
Gated Jukebox, and Icons and Anthems. And after we made the rounds and we walked out of the Steel Horse, she goes, "Dad," she goes, "after what I've seen tonight," she goes, "I want to get up and sing with you."
Nice.
And she was petrified.
Oh, yeah.
She was shaking the
Oh,
whole
yeah.
time. She even got to tell a little bit of the history or whatever. And she walked off and she was just a bundle of nerves. And I was just like,
And I don't even know her, and I will say I am so proud of her for
Oh, yeah, no.
making herself take that step. I know personally making myself walk up and take the mic is not easy.
No.
I would rather turn it over to anybody else.
so that means you're going to do a song with us?
No, I will not be doing a song with
We'll play the
you.
drums for a song. This one you're not right out front. That's why I'm very good.
Well,
Yeah, we stick them in the back.
How about if I come out into the audience?
They don't want me
Will
up
you do
front.
that? And
Yeah,
figure it
no,
out,
no, I don't.
Come on.
I am a backup singer from the farthest, darkest back corner with my mic absolutely turned off.
Singing solo. Solo, we can't hear you. Yeah.
Pretty much, and that's
Singing-
y'all's
singing
benefit.
10, right? 10 or 12 miles
10 or
away.
12 miles away.
Can you sing?
I was in choir for a lot of years.
Oh, okay.
No, that's not the question. Can you sing?
So we're looking for a singer is what we want to. No, I'm just kidding.
How do I answer without answering the damn question? I have tried just about everything.
But you got to hump the floor. That's the.
That's a prerequisite.
I am not humping the floor. I am not screwing the pooch. I am sorry, guys.
Damn
I
dirty
have
floor
been
humper.
known to wear shirts at shows that I
I
damn
wear
near
shirts
fell out
too.
of.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, but you don't almost fall out of yours, and even if you did, nobody would care.
I do,
Yeah, we would.
and they do.
The last show that I did, I was wearing a top that I actually had altered to become my Saint Madness tribute top that zips up the front. And all night long I was having to...
Because the girls wanted to get out.
Because the zipper didn't want to stay up. It had nothing to do with it had the zipper did not.
Well, but
want
they
to
knew, and they're creating
They-
havoc. You know,
right,
they're
and
protesting.
And far more people were enjoying it than I was.
Wait, never mind.
On to the next topic.
And for once, it's not me calling for a topic.
Which connects directly with the fact that we do this for the people.
It's all about
And-
for the
It's
people.
all
And
about
that's
entertainment
it.
value.
I do it for you.
See, I stand out in the audience and dance and act a fool in the audience for the musicians
Well,
on
there's
stage.
one for us.
The only difference is he does it on stage. It's the
See,
same
I
thing.
do it to
They'll
give
come
you
out there
all
and
something
do
to
it
laugh
with you.
about.
I'll
Yeah.
do it on stage, in the bar, and on top of a house, in the bathroom, in a ditch,
In a box with a fox.
Foxtail, anyway.
This is true.
So, how did the foxtail get started?
Oh, Jesus. I even want to hear this one.
As I tell everybody, you know, I've caught people like looking at my ass, and then when I turn around, they look away because I am an ass. And see, I will step right up and say that I will.
I'll ask. I'll ask.
So I found the tail, and it gives them an excuse that they can look at my ass without.
Without
I'm just looking at
Damn,
your
we've
tail.
been made.
No, for me, I always loved Ted Nugent.
Okay.
Okay, one of the many acts that I saw at the Aragon Ballroom, and he swung out on a rope, and he had his white pants on, and there was that huge raccoon tail, and I was like, so it's kind of like an homage to
Okay.
Ted Nugent, so to speak, but yeah, that's got me in quite a bit of trouble with a few bands too.
Why?
So, I have no idea. It's not. They just had a problem with that. I don't want to go into any more details than that. But
No names.
Protect the innocent.
it was.
Are there innocents in music?
Maybe some.
But yeah, so it was just one of those things where the tail really. And besides the fact that I dressed funny, but yeah, the tail was like really. It was like a barn burner for them. It was like, why? What is it? So I showed them. We were at a show, and I said, "Watch. This is what the tail does." So I'm standing there, and some chick comes up, and she's pulling it, stroking it. Oh my God, I love your tail. Can I take a picture of it? She bends down with her face in my ass, and she takes a picture with not a picture of me holding her. It's me and my ass and the tail.
Right. You had nothing to do with it. It was all about the tail.
Exactly. So I said, that's why I'm
Get
wearing
more
the tail.
personality.
Exactly.
Well, and that's when he sent me
It's sad. It speaks.
when he sent me the
volumes.
videos and was
Yeah,
asking
yeah.
my opinion of some of the stuff. One of the things I said is, no, you need to keep the tail
Okay.
because the tail is a signature, and everybody
The
needs a
tail is
signature.
Jim.
Yeah.
Jim is the tail.
It's for the longest time. My signature was that I showed up to metal shows in Wrangler jeans and cowboy boots.
Okay.
That everybody knew. Oh, that's Wranglers and boots. That's Larry. Not to mention the camera was kind of a dead giveaway. But so yeah, your tail is your signature. So who else has got a signature in here?
He's our front man. And that's
Well-
what we got him for.
Well,
to be
Bill
that
has
performer.
brings the multitude of guitars.
Yes. Yes.
How many guitars do you walk on stage with?
At
5
once.
at the moment.
5.
At once.
Well, and
No,
that's
he does at least
I
5 every
take-
night.
I have 5 that I take with me.
And you
18
change
at
out
home.
between all of them depending
Yes.
upon the
Yes.
song you're doing.
Depending on the song I'm
Everyone.
doing, so different sounds, different tunings, or
Tones and stuff.
It's not
some
so
will
much.
sound different than others, so I take them for that.
No, I mean I've seen
This way I
bands.
can make it. I try to make my sound as close to the original sound of the song. I don't go on stage with my sound.
Right.
I try to down what does this sound like on the album? What is he doing?
So
I
that,
try
that
to make
is
it as
that
accurate
is
as
your
I can for
your
me.
drive is
That's the big
for,
difference
for
in this
accuracy.
band too. We have that sound of every song's going to sound like it's supposed to.
Yeah. We
Instead
try.
of just having the one guitar player up there playing the same guitar with the same sound on every song,
Right.
we have to,
Not that there's anything wrong with that. I mean,
No.
some
No,
cover
no,
bands like
there's-
to do their own spin on things.
Right.
But we try,
make it
you
more.
know,
But that
Totally
that
the parts
is
of
that
the-
is your
That's
spin
us, yeah.
is to try
Yeah.
and sound like the original.
Yeah.
Right.
And you're right.
as close as we can.
Yeah.
There is nothing
Yeah.
wrong with that. That actually takes a level of dedication and effort that is WASP level. I mean, they are, for a tribute band, I don't know that you could get any more
Yeah.
close to the original than WASP is.
Right.
And that's basically what you guys are doing with covers.
Well, Will's part of our family. He filled in for one of our shows.
I
So,
love Will. He's
yeah.
a walking, talking teddy bear. Just
Yeah,
don't piss him off.
Oh yeah, no.
He is a teddy bear until he becomes a grizzly.
Right. But yeah, he helped us out right before Wayne came in.
Yeah.
Yep.
We, like I say, with the drummers in the valley, we had we auditioned 5.
We had Garth come in.
Friendly gesture.
Garth is he's another walking, talking
Oh, yeah.
teddy bear. I don't know that I could ever imagine him
Are all
becoming
you
a grizzly.
drummers walking, talking teddy bears?
I guess.
He's not big enough to be a walking,
No,
talking
I'm
teddy
not.
bear.
There was Garth, and then there was Will, and then there was
Dan Riddell.
Scott sat in one time.
Scott.
for
Yeah,
uh,
Scott Schaefer
Schaefer
from Benchmore.
He sat in for a song or two.
Yeah.
And then Dan Riddell is a
Dan Riddell, awesome drummer.
beast.
Very
And
nice
they
guy.
settled on me.
Yeah.
Well, that's because Will was taken and so was Garth.
I
Yes.
Yeah. And Dan
Well,
was busy
Will,
too.
Will was on the fence still.
Yeah, he was on the fence, but
So yeah, no, he was. He knew us. You
Right.
know, we're in the community, and then he came in and played the night with us. And
he still got his WASP thing to do. So
no, not
He's
Will.
busy.
Did I say Will?
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
meant
you
Garth.
but Garth.
Garth.
No.
Garth wasn't.
Garth is actually going to be co-hosting one of my podcasts
Nice.
with me. I'm excited for that.
It's good, yeah.
I was just happy to be auditioning a Wayne and a Garth at the
Yeah.
same time.
Yeah.
One week apart, man. Is this Wayne or is this Garth? No, this is Garth. Okay, Wayne's next week. Yeah, okay, gotcha.
Nice. Yeah, sitting down with Friendly Gesture was pretty fun to interview them
Okay.
too. That we were sitting in Brian's office at his a conference room at his
Okay.
work.
Right.
As thank God everybody was gone because we were laughing and
Oh, sure.
joking and everything else. And I'm like, oh yeah, and we're at your place of business. Lucky you, lucky
That's our
you.
conference room. We actually fit all of us in here, equipment and all. This is where we practice.
Pull the
You're
couch out.
kidding.
In here.
Yeah, couch
Oh, we
comes
use
up.
small
Oh,
stuff.
okay.
We don't bring our big stuff.
Okay, I was like, you've
Now
got
we
to
see
be.
electronic drums, so it's
Yeah. So let's move on to another one of my fun questions. This one gets me glares. I get glared at for this one, which is
Oh,
even
so keep
better.
asking it.
I do keep asking it because it's fun. It's absolutely fun. Y'all are not gonna win. My mother does a better job, I promise.
Crunchy or smooth?
Nope. If you could take the stage with any band,
Oh wow.
living or dead,
Whew.
which is what gets me in
Oh.
trouble every time,
So many.
who would it be?
Then
Share a show, Bill.
Thin Lizzy.
I knew you were going to say that.
So many.
But Phil and Ott's got to be alive.
Yeah.
It's not going to be worth it.
It's your dream.
God, so many.
I let Hunter
I'm-
actually build a band. That was hilarious because it took her almost 10 minutes to answer the question at that point.
No.
Let's see. Skinner.
It's good.
Queen.
You only get one.
AC/DC.
He doesn't follow directions.
Pre
No, he
Brian,
doesn't.
Never
pre
mind.
Brian Johnson.
Paul's got it.
Riot
Right.
Right.
Wow. Okay.
from Guy Speranza.
Swords
God,
and
yeah.
Tequila.
So that's you know that's not piece
You're
of the
gonna
band.
you're gonna be very busy in the afterlife, aren't you?
Yes, I am. I would say Thin Lizzy, but I wouldn't
Okay.
want to. I couldn't sing with Phil. There's I would just probably blow him. Yeah.
When you're
Shoot up with you.
No, that's Thin Lizzy. It's the one band I never got to see. That, unfortunately.
Me either.
The original Blizzard of Oz.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Just to be able to be there with Randy Rhoads in his prime like that, and really see up close what he was doing.
So you look down at him, right?
So I could look down. Yeah,
Short
3 feet of him. Yeah. But yeah,
It's all right.
just so yet another time I could look over and go, damn it, I can't do that either.
Right.
well, but that brings us to a classic example. Okay, now number one, I didn't realize he was short.
Oh, yeah.
Because
Oh,
when
God,
you
yeah.
see
Little
these
guy.
people on stage,
Well, because you're
Shorter
looking at it
than-
this way.
Shorter
They
than Chuck,
are-
I think.
And the
no?
lights magnified.
And,
Well,
and you're looking at it that way, so it looks bigger.
well, and they're bigger than life, and that became really apparent to me because I was at Joe's Grotto. I was actually at a show. Who was I originally there to support? It was either Desert Vikings or Oddity Paradox, but Stereo Rex was on the show bill. Never heard of them. I was still really new into the community. They're actually really good. Dig Stereo Rex big time. But so they take this stage and they look huge. Now Joe's Grotto stage, it really isn't that high. What is it? It was like 4 feet high, maybe.
About the same.
Yeah.
No, it's
No.
No,
The actual
no, yeah, no.
because I had to hop up. To
It used to be this high, but
Right.
they moved it
It,
down.
it
Yeah.
was. It's just above. It was just above waist high for me.
Right.
But
I
so
gotta jump
I'm.
up to it.
I'm, standing back because I'm taking video, and I'm like, Jesus, these guys are huge. Rex, I'm like, God, he's got to be a good 6'2" at
5'1".
least.
He's so dreamy.
That really was. Okay, the man came out on stage in jeans that looked like they were just bigger than painted on. A t-shirt, the jean vest, and the cowboy hat, and that was pretty to look at.
Your
Wait till he wears his
cowboy,
Daisy Dukes. You'd be happy.
your cowboy dream come true.
Absolutely, and he was singing the '80s rock that I grew up on, and doing it damn well. So yeah, it was kind of a fun moment there.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went to introduce myself to him later in the evening so that I could tell him I had gotten video and it was on the local beat and all of that. And he stood up and he made me to my shoulder. And I'm like,
Hi, how are you?
And we're not. we mean nothing. We know no ill will. We're
and Rex knows.
Okay.
I've interviewed with Rex. Stereo Rex knows that I love them all. I adore that band. I adore them. Rex until he hears this, didn't know that how pretty he was
Right.
on stage.
or how huge he was on stage.
No, that's Trey Sadkiss.
He just got bumped.
So, but yeah, they and he actually has no issue with his hype. He jokes about it all the time. So I didn't have a problem being able to share that, knowing it's not going to hurt his
Right.
feelings. He's going to laugh with me about it when he does a show
Okay.
for me.
Well, hopefully he knows that we're not saying anything
No,
about him.
no,
And I'm being
no.
correct, or politically correct. Bring the soda in if you wouldn't mind.
But it's
Thank you.
that.
Well, if he has anything to say about him, look me in the eye.
It's that how many musicians that you see them, they're large. You think they're larger than life. Another example of that is the lead singer of Disturbed. Another one that I saw him I saw him doing the video from the Conan O'Brien show, the video of I'm going to blank on the
Simon
name.
Garfunkel?
No, yeah, that
Sound of Silence.
Sound of Silence. And I was like, oh my God, oh wow. And I like Disturbed.
Sure.
And then to hear him do that, and to actually see him, because I had never looked up the band, I just had some of their
And you
music.
didn't have to look up the band.
Didn't have to look up to him anyway.
Down there. What?
Well, yeah, no, he was pretty enough that I actually, other than the metal in his mouth,
Right.
I went and actually looked up information on him, and he's like 5'6". And,
That's what I was in high school.
and that's what I was by the time I was in 5th grade.
Wow.
Actually, I was
5'6", so it doesn't matter.
I was 5'9" by the time I was 12. So
And we used to play with Disturbed in Chicago.
yeah,
When they were
Even
coming
David
up,
Lee
so-
Roth was like 5'7", 5'8", something like that.
yeah.
He's not very tall.
How tall are we?
And there is a reason that I
We're bigger
enjoy.
than life.
Yeah.
There is a reason I enjoy hanging out with people like Will and Garth,
People
because
look up to him.
right,
Party on.
I can actually feel small around them.
I get tired of looking at guys' bellies, though.
I'm not going there.
I almost
You're trying to
fell.
set me up.
Hell, I almost
And
fell
I'm not
into
gay, so stop it.
I'm just
You're
happy.
just very happy. You're very happy.
I'm just happy all the time.
that. Just stop it.
Stop it. You're embarrassing me.
Oh my god.
I do cartoon voices, so that's one of my favorite, you know.
He was too much
Nice.
Rudolph with the red-nosed reindeer thing, you know.
Or
Oh Jesus. No.
That just happened.
I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry. So let's go on to.
Yes, please.
All right, when the band is begging to go on, I'm going to ask one more question of my favorites.
so we didn't letter at you for that one, by the way.
They
For the
tried.
band? Oh, okay.
They tried.
Right.
Would you let her ask the question?
Oh, sorry.
Um,
I just remembered. Flashback. Sorry.
so best.
They were in a band called Flashback recently.
We kinda
so-
skipped over
well,
that one.
when we
Yeah.
skipped. When I skipped town, we all skipped to Maluma, darling.
So best and worst show that you've played.
What, as a band?
As in,
this group?
you can do it as this group. You can do it as one of your other bands that you were a member of. I've had stories about singers tripping over drum kits. I have had
That hadn't happened yet. Yeah.
stacks
Yeah.
falling. If I remember correctly, that was a St. Madness story that the stacks started to fall.
Well, that wouldn't be one of your best shows. That would be
That was one of the worst.
Oh, worse.
And I think that was a St. Madness. Don't quote me on that. I might be wrong.
One of the worst shows.
Worse.
I was in a band called Rain, and we were at Joe's Grotto. And neither one of the guitar players could get stuff tuned in right, so they were out of tune the whole way through. And we're playing the songs, and we're just dying up there, right? And our singer looks up at Joe and goes, "Hey, I'd like to apologize. We had death in the family. We're really having a rough time getting through this." And after the show was over, Joe goes, "You could have canceled." He said, "No, the show's got to go on. We still had to do it." What really died was us up on stage. It wasn't nobody. We were
The
dying.
band
The band was dying.
spirit just
Death
died.
in the family. Yeah, well, sorry. So yeah, that was horrible.
93, 94 is Necessary Enemy out here, and we're playing down at the original Long Wongs, where you kind of move tables out of the L-shaped building, you move tables out of the way to set yourself up in this little corner, and there were 5 of us, and 2 of them, my bass player and rhythm player, were skyscrapers. Just huge dudes, and we're out there doing this thing, and our singer, Damien, was very animated all the time, and was constantly going around, and these huge pontoon feet of his, he caught the power supply for my pedal board one time, caught it, yanked it out, pulled all the power out of all my pedals, so my whole thing's there, so I'm having to do this rock show with a straight, clean amp the rest of the time, and hitting notes going, it's like, boing. Crap! There's just nothing going on. And it was like the second or third song it had happened, so we had the rest of the night to go, and I had nothing to work with.
I don't think I've ever had a bad show.
Yeah, yeah.
Of course you have.
Well, let's talk about.
No,
Is everybody around me?
no, I bad, no. And the most memorable ones were being apologized to for not having a big enough stage. I've had many sound men, many stage hands come up and say, dude, I'm sorry, my stage wasn't, you are just ungodly. I had a
And he took that as a compliment.
of course.
Well, he'll take the compliment, all right.
Well, because it's because I don't stand around. I'm not a statue. So, I had a lighting guy. He had a spotlight on me, and he goes, "I'm keeping up with you." And I said, "Yeah, sure." After the show, he comes up and he said, "God bless you." His arms were sore because he kept having to go into the audience, and he had to keep trying to find me because I just wouldn't stay. I don't stay in one place, and if I do, it's taking away from the performance. So when you try to pigeonhole me, when you try to, I'm not one for, what's the word?
Looking at it.
Choreographed.
Right.
It's off the top.
Off the cuff is always the best way to
Right.
go.
So I can honestly, have I had bad moments in shows? Yes. But a bad show, no. And just only memorable experiences from the first one back in 1980 to present day. So I've been happy.
How about you?
I can't think of any disasters. I've done a couple stupid things where I forget to tighten a cymbal all the way in. Next thing you know, it comes crashing down on me, or I forget to tighten the beater on my bass drum, and then all of a sudden it falls down, and I'm having to use the left pedal with my right foot up to shift the drum. All the drums are over here, and my body's totally contorted. But yeah, nothing really, too crazy.
I did this show back in Chicago at a place called Looney Tunes downtown.
Oh.
Two sections of bar. They were just long, thin. So this side's the bar, and the other side is where the bands were playing. And they had the sound guy back in a closet. We're going, okay, this seems to be interesting. We're just going to look on the other side, and there's the stage, which was 8 pool tables shoved up against the wall with sheets of plywood put on top of it. And that's where we were. Standing on pool tables with...
Solid.
No, not really.
Well,
The plywood wasn't.
Half inch.
My bass player is 6'2", 6'3", 300 plus pounds. He comes walking over and steps right up next to me, and the thing starts sinking, and all the mic stands comes leaning into the center. So we're just standing there the whole time. The singer's down on the floor. He's like, screw this, I ain't chancing this one. We're standing up there going, don't move, waiting for it to collapse.
Stay in your corner.
As we're trying to get everything in a Chicago rain, and the outside lights weren't working, so we're parked on the street. The front lights were working, so it's like somebody go get the door and run.
Oh my God. So, best show.
All the rest.
Electric Ballroom. Played main stage at the Electric Ballroom. I got to open for Great A's, which was Chester Bennington's band out here. We shared space with them. Just my drummer and his drummer were cousins, so they ended up sharing rehearsal space. And they were always the ones that we were chasing out here. They were the name out here at the time. And so I finally that was like playing main stage there with
90s,
Great
wasn't
A's
it?
was amazing. Yeah,
Had
about
to be 90s,
94.
'cause before that was after the Gold Rush.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it was about 94,
That
I'm
was a
going to
great
94,
album by
95,
Neil
something
Young.
like that.
Huh?
And we
It
got
was a
to-
great album by Neil Young after the Gold Rush. I love that album.
No, I'm talking about the bar was called that.
Oh,
Ballroom.
okay, sorry. I was in somewhere else. So.
Yeah, Tempe used to be the main drag out
Oh, yeah,
for a
yeah,
long
yeah.
time.
Yeah.
You go here and party out, but then go across the street to Confetti's, which was downstairs,
Yeah.
which was kind of cool.
See, when I lived in Arizona the last time, I left Arizona in 92. When I left, the coolest place to go hang out was Mr. Lucky's.
Mm-hmm.
Never got to go
Country
there.
Country upstairs,
rock
rock
downstairs.
downstairs.
Yep. And
The
Friday and
business in
Sun
the front.
Friday and Sunday night
Like the
were
Mullet
family
Bar.
night. Whole family could come in and
I never heard
until
those.
9 o'clock. Yeah, it was pretty cool.
And now it's a closed mattress warehouse.
No, they opened it back up last year. They're doing it as rental space.
They still got the fence around it though, so
Oh, okay. Good to know.
yeah.
I was kind of excited until they said that they
Bad
weren't
neighborhood.
opening it back up.
bad neighborhood.
Best show?
Okay.
Best show with you guys?
Best show period.
Period.
Best show I did with these guys.
Best show with you,
BLK
period.
BLK
was a good show. Yeah.
BLK was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Place was
A lot of fun.
packed.
Man,
Good sound man.
we've had a lot of good shows.
I don't know. I say the one Joe's Grotto when you jumped off stage and the ground was the good show. That was a good one. So.
Copper Blues was
Copper
good.
Blues was good.
Copper Blues was
We've
a lot
had
of fun.
Yeah, that's right. You were. Yeah, that was right. You were there.
That was a fun one.
That was fun.
Yeah, for three, and that's one of those
For as
blue
tiny
ball
as it
3
is.
songs. And what do I do now?
Yeah, and the owners are going, I don't know where to put it.
But they wanted us to play more. So what?
Yeah.
We played another 2 songs tonight? Or 1 or 2 songs?
One song. You mean 4 altogether.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My best show was 1990
1950.
in Chicago with the band Mortar. We got to play the Milwaukee Metal Fest. There were 30 plus bands. We Deicide, Sepultura, Demolition Hammer, to name a few. And so we had just bought a bus, and we had an admissions a school bus, yeah,
Short one.
that we converted to a little yellow bus. No, this is the big white one. And we had a Chicago
Little
number
yellow
on it.
bus,
The
not
white bus
yellow
with the prison-
submarine.
So
The white was the prison bus, right?
so we had a muffler leak. So it was leaking into the bus. So we drove up to Milwaukee with the leak. Well, my bunk was right above where the
Oh,
gyms were coming in.
Right?
So I woke up.
You finally had an
And that's where it
excuse that
began.
day.
No. There's many of those. Don't worry about that. So I woke up in a fog, and you could see, and my head was ringing, and I'm like, what the hell was that?
Yeah, man.
And so like we're all talking, and then all of a sudden I came up with it, and I said, you know what, we're gonna call this the Sleeping with Hitler tour, because we were being gassed as we were driving along. And I'm sorry, that's
That's okay.
it was 91. Okay, I'm sorry.
When we weren't so politically correct.
And
we're not.
And for the music we were doing, we were a thrash.
Right.
So it was nothing.
That fit in just fine.
Nothing was off the cuff. So, so we get there, we're hanging around. I got to piss Glenn from Deicide off because I bumped into him by accident. And everybody said, do you know who that was? And I said, some douchebag. And they're like, that was Glenn from Deicide. And I said, and I had no idea because I really was in the thrash scene at the time, so I didn't know what bands were what.
Welcome to
And-
my world.
Right. And we had Max Cavalera come on our bus. They wanted to buy our bus. Because he's like, who are you
Fumes and all.
signed with? And it's like, no, we just did this on our own. He goes, oh, you guys are wonderful. And they were smoking pot and everything was good. So, high noon. This is my first show with the band. I didn't even know any of their songs. I'm still like reading lyrics, and we only got to do 2 songs. So, and this is right at the time where Dahmer got arrested. It was that week.
Oh, God.
And he lived 2 blocks away from the Eagles Ballroom. So we're getting ready to go on, and everybody's like, what are you going to sing? And I was just like, I don't know. So I'm sitting there, and I'm pacing, and I think her name was Tabby. She was the stage manager. She was like, there you go. I said, you're not going to? She goes, it's up to you. So I'm walking back and forth, and I'm looking at the crowd, and there's probably...
God, I wish the bands would leave it up to me whether I get to introduce them or not.
That's
they don't.
That's
They-
what you should do.
no, no.
Okay, well,
The bands,
Saturday night.
No,
You wanna introduce them, you can.
the bands look at me and go, here. And I'm like, oh.
That's a good introduction. So I look at the crowd and I said, Milwaukee, we are Mortar from Chicago. You got Dahmer. We got Gacy. It's a fucked up world. And as soon as I said mosh, my drummer kicked in, and it was a song called War Within Society, which I wanted to try to do this weekend, but it's not our kind of music. And the crowd just went absolutely apeshit. I'm pulling people, the bouncers are just beating people down because they're trying to climb on stage. I'm beating the bouncers. I'm pulling people up on stage so that they can stage dive. So we did the 2 songs, and we're walking off stage because we didn't have to have our gear, we just had our guitars. And she looked, she goes, one more. And I said, but I don't know one more.
Oh, shit.
And we rolled into another one. So we got to do 3 songs at the Milwaukee Metal Fest. And that was for my first show with the band.
Wow.
You couldn't, because I didn't even know if they liked me. So when I walked off stage,
They like me.
dripping
They really
sweat,
like me.
and the drummer looks and he goes, so what do you think? And I said, I don't know. And he goes, well, do you think you're going anywhere? And I said, home. He goes, no, with the band. He goes, well, what do you think? And I said, that was awesome. He goes, welcome to the club. So I was indoctrinated just by that.
And now look where he is.
Yeah.
So
Playing with his dream band for display.
All right, guys, so we are running out of time, but you have a show coming up. I know this because it's with me.
you set it up.
I did set
She
it
set
up.
us up.
I did.
We're gonna set it up.
And you'll like it.
All right.
You guys are playing on June 20th. You are playing at the Blues Bar down in Phoenix along with Grudgemeyer, Moonbirds
Birds
and
and
Monsters,
Monsters.
and
Ooh.
some effing band.
You can't say fucking?
Well, that's actually not. That's not their name.
It could be farting then for all we know.
That's actually not
Rocking,
their name.
foaming, some foaming band?
Their name really is some effing band.
Oh, I thought it was, okay.
Nope, it is some
Because
effing
you can't put
band.
that shit up on the thing, so.
Well, you
So-
can.
But anyway.
But are you looking forward to it?
Of course we are.
Oh, yeah.
We look forward to any chance,
Just love to play.
every chance. That's what we do. That's
Back
what
to
we
the
love.
previous question. Back to anytime we can get on stage, it's good.
So
We just want to play.
We're not whores. We don't.
Well-
We won't screw anybody over to get to where we need
No.
to be. But it's one thing that we live for, and I think we do it well.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing you guys on stage. I actually enjoy all of the shows that I get to be a part of. You guys asked me why I was contemplating putting a cover band in with original bands, and we didn't touch on that. I'll touch on it just a little bit before I wrap us up. It's because I don't believe in the walls in music. I don't believe there should be a line between covers and originals. It's music. It's all music. We love it. It's universal language. Why should we make more walls? So I don't believe in making walls in my shows. I don't book shows based on this style of music or that style of music. When I book a show, I book it based on sound. This band sounds good with this band, with this band, with this band. They will complement each other's sound and make an overall good show.
Have you heard us?
So you're saying there's a chance.
Y'all might make it yet.
Damn.
So let's wrap this up. Everybody, thank you for tuning in to The Beat Goes On. This was for display only. And if you are in the greater Phoenix area, you can actually catch them on stage Saturday, June 20th at the Blues Bar. Thank you, guys. Got any final words for the fans?
Thanks
Be
for,
there.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
Bar
Check us out on
mitzvahs,
Facebook.
birthday parties, sleepovers. We will come to you.
You can stalk them on Facebook.
Please
I
do.
know. I know where they're at. You
My
can
number
stalk
is
them.
6. I dare you.
You don't want to.
Okay, and good night, everybody.